I'm Christy with Katie. We're here at the International AIDS Conference in Montreal, AIDS 2022. Despite huge gains in HIV prevention, testing, and treatment, two-spirit, gay, bi, queer men are still overrepresented in the HIV epidemic, both here and globally. I sat down with Michael Quag from CBRC to hear from him about how we can create more sustainable and holistic responses to HIV led by queer communities.
I'm Michael Quag. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm a director at the Community-Based Research Center. Gay and bisexual men continue to be disproportionately impacted, reflecting the majority of people living with HIV and new cases. And so we really can't afford to not center them in the response. But we need to go beyond that. No one should be left behind in the response to HIV. And that requires recognizing who isn't being met by current programs and services for both people living with HIV or people who are at risk for HIV. When it comes to HIV, that we still hear that this is a significant concern for certain folks within the broader 2S LGBTQ+ community, and we have to continue to be responsive to those needs. But we have to recognize that for a lot of people in the community, HIV isn't sort of viewed in isolation of other health and social issues that they might be dealing with in their lives, and not everyone in the queer community is as equally impacted by things like HIV. There may be other priorities that are important for advancing 2S LGBTQ+ health that also need to be prioritized. For so long, when it came to the health of queer people and communities, HIV was really the only thing that governments and public health were thinking about, caring about. And I think it is really important that we create space to have bigger conversations with community around the health and social challenges that they're facing. And sometimes that still includes HIV, but sometimes it includes a broader set of issues that we're only now starting to create some space to build a response around. What we've heard from community over the years is that talking about HIV shouldn't be done in a vacuum, in isolation of other issues that our community members are facing, which also may actually impact their vulnerability to HIV and their ability to get the care and support that they need. Well, I think the fact that we have highly effective prevention, treatment, and support interventions and tools available, yet we are still seeing a pretty steady or stable trend of increasing cases of HIV in Canada. It means that we're not doing everything right, that there must be additional efforts that need to be considered. And I think underlying all of this is a context where funding has been pretty stagnant, where community-based organizations, those that are best positioned to support the needs of people that are most impacted by HIV, are asked to do more with the same. Stretching their resources thin, we haven't seen an increase to HIV funding at the community level in Canada for almost 15 years. And that's just unacceptable. In that time period, we've learned so much more. We've developed and generated so many more important tools that we can use to actually make some serious progress in our fight against HIV. But we're not doing it. We're not making the investments to actually bring these interventions and strategies to scale, and fully realizing the impact of things like U=U and PrEP, and ensuring that we're actually capitalizing on what is now available. And it's time that our governments recognize the advancements in science and technology and actually harness them to have a positive impact in what we're trying to do around HIV.